Ciao amorini! Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for your patience. I've taken this time to really kind of just organize my life and get ready for baby, which should be here more or less in the next 10 days. When this video goes live, less. So we shall see. But I'm also working with a new camera, so I hope that everything comes out okay. I've got a little microphone here. I hope everything works. So I also wanted to test this little new setup out as well. But yes, I've honestly not had that much energy. To be completely transparent, I haven't really been doing much except for being at home. So there really hasn't been much for you to see. I've been having fun doing mini daily vlogging on my Instagram channel. It's just a little bit easier to keep up with. There you go. But I really wanted to do a last Q&A before baby girl's arrival. So I asked you all on Instagram to ask me anything, whether it pertains to the pregnancy, to baby, to life in general. The last time I did a Q&A was just pregnancy specific, and it was a very long one. So thank you to all who made it through the entire thing, but I'll link that up above. I think I filmed that right out after my first trimester. So a lot has changed since then, and let's just get right into the questions, shall we? Okay, first question is Emilio going to be at home the first few weeks after birth? Yes, he is. The beauty of his job is he's freelance, so he can really work whenever he wants, which is nice. So he actually has taken the last couple of months off to be with me, and he's been an amazing, immense help. Also because especially nowadays, it's hard to get around and do much physically. It's been a blessing to have him at home, and he will be home the first full month actually. Right, that delves right into the next question, which is your mom coming to help after birth or someone else? So my mom will be here in 2 weeks. She should be, her plan is to get here a couple days before baby's due date, and she plans on staying for about a month, which will be amazing because I know Emilio and I will need the extra hands, and she's somebody that I can always count on and be entirely and utterly completely myself. And so who knows what postpartum is going to be like. I can only imagine. And so I'm very grateful that she's coming. And then of course Emilio's sisters will come up, but they're in Italy as well, so they can kind of come up whenever we decide it's the right time. But my mom will be here for a good period, a good amount of time. And apologies if I am super stuffy. I've been very stuffy. I've had rhinitis for half of my pregnancy, just like a chronic stuffed up nose that just doesn't go away. So apologies. Eres tan hermosa y simpática. Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias. Will you have help with the baby girl when she is here? So we don't have a nanny or an au pair or a night nurse or anything like that. My mom, like I just mentioned, will be here for the first month, and then we kind of just want to get a hang of a routine and see what it's like. And I think while I'm on maternity leave, it doesn't really make sense to have additional help outside of family. If we're able to down the road have a nanny or a babysitter to help a couple days a week or something, that would be great, but not in the beginning, because we kind of just want to see how it all unfurls and get into a routine. Just go with the flow and see how it goes. How long are you going to be on maternity leave? So the technical maternity leave in Italy, at least for the type of work contract that I have, is a total of 5 months paid. You are obliged to take 2 months off prior to your due date. You can work until the very, very last day if you have a doctor's note saying you're fit for it. But honestly, I took the time off beforehand just because I didn't realize how draining physically and mentally pregnancy was going to be, especially towards the end. So I think it's actually amazing that they offer this obligatory maternity leave prior. Just wanted to add a little quick note here that if you do end up working until the last days, then you can take 5 full months of maternity leave once your baby arrives. Or you can also choose to just have 1 month before delivery, and you can have 4 months of maternity leave post-baby. So it is kind of up to you and what you and your employer agree upon. And this is depending on your physical state as well, because your doctor is typically the one that makes the ultimate call. And so that leaves 3 months post-birth. But again, this is all dependent on the type of contract you have. I'm just speaking from my own experience and the contract I have. You are able to then extend once those 3 months are up for something called the aspettativa, which you can extend for up to 6 months, but you only receive 30% of your salary. But you can decide how much time you want. You can take 1, 2, 3 months of your aspettativa. You can take all 6. You can also tackle on vacation days. So it kind of depends on your own personal situation, your own contract, what you've agreed upon with your employer. I will, after those 3 months are up, I plan on reassessing and reevaluating where my mind and body are to see what to do from there. Will you be raising her bilingual? I do go into this more in depth with my previous long video, but to spare you going through the entire thing, yes, of course, we plan on raising her bilingual, English and Italian first, 100%. We live in Italy, Emilio is Italian, so, that's only natural. And then I, being an American native speaker, will speak to her predominantly in English at home. That way she can communicate with both sides of the family. Does your company have to pay additional fees to allow you to work in Europe? I honestly don't know because I have an Italian contract. The company I work for is originally American, but they have branches in different countries. So they're able to hire local employees. So I don't know what that setup looks like, but it's not like I'm an American employee working in Italy, employed by the American branch. I'm an Italian citizen working under an Italian contract for the Italian branch, if that makes sense. Were kids in your life do you plan on having another? I can't tell you how many times I've been asked already, oh, so do you think you're going to have another one? I'm like, let me just push this one out first before answering that question. But I have always wanted to be a mom. I've always envisioned myself being a mom. Now the trajectory of that timeline, I never really had a set timeline. I've always been kind of a little bit behind all my friends with everything in life, buying a house, university, getting married, having kids, but that's totally fine. I'm very happy with the timeline of my life personally. So it always was a part of it. When I met Emilio, we both knew we wanted kids and to raise a family eventually down the road, but we didn't put a specific timeline on that. And it's too early to tell. I mean, I would like to have another kid. We both would like to have more than one. Let's see how the first one goes. And if we love it and all goes well and I'm blessed to be able to have another one, sure. I'm my parents' only child. And to be honest, at this stage in my life, I do wish I had a sibling close in age with me. And Emilio is 1 out of 3. So I think a good compromise would be 2, but we'll see. Physical activity during pregnancy. What workouts have you done until what week? So honestly, the thing I did was reformer Pilates up until my 32nd week. I did Pilates twice a week. No cardio. I mean, the only cardio that I've had that I did was walking everywhere here, living in Florence. And then at my 32nd week, my gynecologist noticed signs of preterm labor in my cervix and told me to stop all activity until we hit 36 weeks just to be sure and safe. So I did stop Pilates for about a month and a half because then there was Christmas in between as well. And I just started it back up again, but very gentle, slow movements, stretching, breath work mostly, just to kind of get ready for labor. Ciao. How long do you plan to stay home with your baby / how long is parental leave in Italy? So I did answer the question about maternity leave. Parental leave for fathers is different if they have a contract versus if they're, freelance. Like Emilio can take as much as he wants, but then the downside of that is that he doesn't make an income. So we're going to try to balance and see how long he can be away and working once baby is here. And how long I plan to stay at home, it totally depends after my maternity leave is up. I do plan on staying at home my entire maternity leave with baby and then figure it out from there. Since my job is working remotely, I'll need to figure out what that balance looks like by being at home, working at home, and raising a baby. I wish I could answer that question fully for you at this time, but I think it will just kind of have to be, we're going to play it by ear and figure it out as we go along. What brand of cot and pram have you gone for? So do you mean by cot, do you mean crib? So by crib, we ended up getting the Stoke crib, which is like a grow with you until I think they're up to 5. You can kind of extend it, make it into a bed. So we have that set up. I'm actually thinking of maybe doing a nursery reveal. If you're interested in that, in seeing that, let me know down below in the comments. And then pram, we got gratefully gifted by Annex Baby, like the 3-in-1, where you have the car seat and then the actual, like, what is it called? Like the lay down type of bed for newborns, and then it can convert into a sitting up pram or stroller for my Americans. And I love the aesthetic and the look of the pram, of the stroller. I can't wait to put it to the test. Thank you so much to Annex Baby for gifting us the stroller / pram set. What are you looking forward to do with baby girl in Italy that you can't in the US? Something something that is easier with a baby in Italy than the US. So something that I've noticed kind of all over Italy, even long before I became pregnant, is that babies and kids are loved and accepted everywhere here. Now, I'm not saying that they're not loved and accepted in the US, but here you see families and couples going out for aperitivo at 6, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. even. They have their strollers, they have their kids, and I feel like the parents here are able to kind of integrate their kids more into their lifestyle, whereas what I've seen in the States, it's very more like we can't, it's very rigid and structured, and we can't, miss nap time. Nap time has to be at home. More kind of like less bringing your baby out with you to enjoy things, if that makes sense. Now, I could be totally wrong, but that's just what I've witnessed, and I love seeing that around. I can't wait to be able to just kind of, granted, granted, I don't know what our routine's going to be. It's going to take a while to get into some type of routine. I'm not saying that we're going to have our baby have nap time every day in a stroller while we're out, at lunches or things like that. But I do like the whole more like social aspect of including hi baby, of bringing your kids with you to a lot of places, and the ease of traveling, since Italy is so small and you can do a lot by train, by car, whereas in the US everything is so spread out. So even a weekend getaway, I feel like you have to do it by plane if you're not close to something via car. So that's something I can't wait to kind of just have her become part of the things we love to do. And of course, we are going to have to adjust, and I know that. But I think that that's something that I've noticed raising kids here versus there. Have you decided upon a name yet, or are you waiting until baby arrives? So we have been super indecisive. We thought we knew the name long before we got pregnant. We always talked about if we had a girl, if we had a boy, when that day comes. But then when we found out the gender and we started thinking about names, it's been like a crisis. We've had this long list of names. We are really trying to hone in on a name that's easy to pronounce and spell in both languages, English and Italian. And also pretty short, since Emilio's surname is long. So I think we do have a name picked out, but we're not sharing it with anyone yet because I don't know if we're gonna change our mind. We wanna wait until we meet her officially. That leads me to the next question, names you love but won't be using. Now, I won't share that yet because I still have a list of names I love that we may change our mind and switch to one of those last minute. So I'll share maybe postpartum names that we really loved that we won't be using this time around. What is the tool you're using on your face? You're beautiful and it's helpful when you speak Italian. Well, thank you so much for the compliment. I feel like I've been kind of failing lately at my Italian content because my brain, like, what is it? Pregnancy fog, pregnancy brain, it's a real thing. And so I feel like trying to speak in Italian these days, like my brain is just going in overload. But this is from the story that I posted on Instagram. It's this, I have it here. It's this face roller with these ceramic balls by a brand called Carbonique. And it's kind of like the concept of gua sha. And it helps lift, contour, and get your blood circulating. So it's really nice to kind of put an oil or a serum on your face and then roll it. And the ceramic balls are super cool. So it's this nice cooling sensation, and it kind of is supposed to just sculpt and give you a lifted effect. Now, granted, I don't use it every day, but I should. What products do you use on your skin? It always looks amazing and glowing. Thank you so much. My skincare routine, especially lately, has been pretty minimal. With pregnancy, I've had to omit some products like retinols and salicylic acids and things like that. To be honest, I've had no problems with my skin during pregnancy. Hallelujah. You know, hormones are still changing. A lot can still happen during postpartum. But so far, my skin has been thriving in pregnancy. Lately, I've just been using like a very gentle plant-based cleanser. And then in the morning, I'll put an eye cream on that has caffeine in it to brighten my eyes, because one thing actually I have noticed is that my under eye and orbital area actually has gotten a lot darker during pregnancy. So that is one thing that I've noticed. I like to do some type of essence or toner to kind of just waken up my skin and prepare my skin for the application of the other products. Definitely always every morning some type of vitamin C product, whether it's an oil or a serum. Vitamin C is super important for me for brightness and illuminating. They're the only mammals that don't produce vitamin C. So vitamin C for sure. And then a moisturizer, like a water-based gel moisturizer in the daytime, and then SPF. Especially, I've been like really adamant on SPF, especially during pregnancy. And that's it for the morning. And then at night, cleanser, essence, and I switch it up every night, whether it's just a moisturizer or just an oil. I've been pretty minimal with my skincare. So thank you for the compliment. I will leave my skincare, like a link down in the description to both my Amazon storefront and also my Like to Know It page, where I have a lot of the products that I use, as well as makeup as well. My makeup is in very minimal lately too. So how did you make friends in Italy? This is an interesting question because I've talked a little bit about it before, but you know, I will say making friends in a different country is difficult, let alone as an adult is very difficult. When I first when I lived in Italy the first time around, I lived in Rome. And that was honestly really hard to make friends for me because I worked from home. I did teach English at a school, and so I was able to meet some fellow teachers as well, but we never really became like close. We were just acquaintances. So in Rome, I found it pretty hard to make friends. The only friends really I made were other content creators, and they were always transient and coming in and out. So it's hard when you make a friendship and then they move and they leave. Especially at that time in my life, in my mid-20s, I saw people come and go all the time, and it's really hard to then have to start over again. I will say this time around in Florence, it's been a lot easier for me because of work. Like, my job in Florence is different than it was in Rome, and it's forced me to go out and meet people and be social, and that's how I've met most of my friends, honestly, in Florence, is through work. And then also just putting yourself out there. Like, there have been some people that I've reached out to on social media that I know live here, and it's like you kind of have to have no shame and be like, hey, I really, can relate to you. I live here too, would love to grab a coffee if you are open to that. And then you either click with the person or you don't. And these days I'm all about quality over quantity. So I have a lot more acquaintances than I do like really close-knit friends here, but I'm totally okay with that because, it is what it is, and that's just kind of the stage I'm at in my life. And especially now being pregnant, I've connected with other pregnant women or brand new moms, and I feel like the next chapter of my life will also be kind of centered around trying to find friends who are moms for us to be able to kind of bond. And I feel like, having a child is going to be a huge central focal point of my life and the friendships that we have surrounding it. So it's forever evolving. And the last question, which I find it kind of random, so let's just end the video with that. Would you ever consider wearing a sari, or no, you don't like Indian dresses? I don't know where that question came from, but of course I would consider wearing a sari if there was ever an event or the opportunity to. I find them to be super beautiful, and I always admire women who are wearing them in weddings or events like that. Of course I would consider it. I need to go to an Indian wedding or some type of event that would call for a sari, for sure. I think it would be so much fun and beautiful to wear one. Absolutely, why not? Anyways, thank you all so much. I also received other messages like no questions, just, giving you my support. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. I just appreciate you for sticking around and still being here. And if you do have Instagram, I'm much more active over there. Barolo says goodbye too. Barolo, do you want to say goodbye to them? Come here. Say goodbye. Say goodbye to the YouTube family. Are you purring? Are you purring and giving me kisses? Thank you so much. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are in the world. I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.